3rd of July video diary. Now, for a couple of weeks, I've been mentioning that I'm going to do a video about a threatening letter that I got from Homes For Northumberland and Northumberland County Council from their senior lawyer. I've been delaying it for various reasons because I've had to wait for time to pass and the clock to turn, because I put some counter questions to them in the reply that I gave, and I've had to wait 20 working days for it to time out. Shocks, horrors, I've received no reply. But anyway, let's talk about the letter itself. Now, the letter itself was in relationship to a video that I published on the 17th of May. And it demands that I take the video down, and it also asserts that I have no right to publish and process any images I capture in my home of their officers, because this would constitute harassment. And it's a very narrow and one-sided interpretation of the law that they've presented to me, and it later on threatens legal action in the form of litigation based on this narrow and one-sided interpretation of the law, which is what makes it a threatening letter. Now, of course, that's not the entire story, is it? There are actually two sides to the coin, because if the images that I capture in my home become a matter of the public interest, then it becomes fair, reasonable and proportionate for me to publish those images. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples now of two situations which sort of demonstrate the point. So just looking at my notes, the 22nd of May, I published a video, didn't I, on my channel, sort of indicating that my boiler had broken down. And as a result of me phoning that problem in, a day later, some electricians turned up who were decent lads, doing a decent job. They came in, no fuss, no drama. They showed me ID at the door. They did the job. 20 minutes later, they were gone. They didn't cause any trouble. There was no problem at all. So, of course, I didn't publish a video about that, because that would not have been fair, reasonable and proportionate of me to publish their images on my whistleblower channel when they hadn't done anything wrong. And yes, that would probably constitute harassment and fits the narrow interpretation of the law that Northumberland County Council's legal department have presented to me. However, the video I published on the 17th is a totally different kettle of fish, and it does show wrongdoing. And if you're engaged in wrongdoing on a video and you get caught, you have no reasonable expectation for privacy. And what the video demonstrates is that the management structure were not acting in good faith, and that they'd contrived to turn the encounter into a confrontation, and that nobody really expected to be carrying out the work that they said they were there to do, you see. And that's what makes it a matter of the public interest, because I'm a disabled person in a protected group, and they sent like a heavy-handed, overwhelming amount of people who had no real intention of doing the work. Now, you can't blame the lads on the tools. This is the management, the structure that's creating these problems. So it became fair, reasonable and proportionate to publish that video. And as a whistleblower, I am currently engaged in discussions and actions and interactions with the political establishment in Northumberland to make my case. And without that video, I can't make a reasonable argument and I can't make my case. So that's why I've published it. And the legal action they're threatening to take against me in the form of an injunction is what's called a SLAPP. Now, a SLAPP is a strategic litigation against public participation. And there's currently a bill going through Parliament at the moment to clamp down on this sort of thing. And this is what the House of Commons Library says about this. Strategic litigation against public participation aims to use litigation to prevent the publication of information about wrongdoing. So if we have a little Google, we find out that on May the 8th, 2024, the Strategic Litigation Against Public Participation Bill, SLAPPs, went to committee after passing its second reading in the House of Commons. And if we look down the paragraph, we see that it aims to protect journalists and activists, that's me, whistleblowers, that's me also, and public watchdogs from harassment when they publish information in the public interest, which is what I'm doing. And if we look at the Solicitors Regulation Authority website, we find more discussion about strategic lawsuits against public participation in the thematic review. Now, it's quite dry and long-winded, but it basically adds up to the same thing that's asserted and put forward on the Home Office website. So, as part of my due diligence, I phoned the Office of the Information Commissioner. We had a long and detailed discussion about what I've done and published up to now and what I intend to do in the future. And they told me what I already knew, which is that I am not doing anything wrong. So I refuse to be intimidated by Homes for Northumberland, and I fully intend to carry on investigating and exposing the dodgy goings on at Homes for Northumberland and bringing my findings to the public's attention.